day in our conference. I hope those who attended the social event yesterday night enjoyed it. Is there anybody here from the reading team, from the Malta team? I guess no, because they celebrated the victory so much. So, okay, so the keynote in this first session is about evolving the PSAP into more than just a PSAP. I have to admit that being fire chief in Aachen for many years, some years ago I didn't even know what a PSAP is. For me it was a control room, because we have this integrated system, call taking and dispatching. Who knows what a PSAP is? Show of hands. Okay, that's fine. I'm really, really great. And who's in charge of PSAP at home? Okay, so everybody's in charge, but somebody had to organize that. And I have the pleasure to introduce to you Teresa Murray. She's Chief Executive Director of the Sacramento Regional Fire and EENA Communication Center. You see the difference, PSAP Communication Center. So we are really eager to hear what you have to say, what's going on in your PSAP. Teresa began her public safety career in 1984 with the Sacramento Police and Fire Department, and positions held were dispatcher, recruit, communications training officer, IT support, administrative supervisor, and then she was project manager overseeing the design and the building of the 911 Communication Center, a $23 million thing. Okay, that was something. And in 2004, Teresa went to Roseville Police and Fire Department. There she has been manager and commander of police services. And then, as I already said, she became CEO in Sacramento Regional Fire EMS Communication Center. Teresa, the floor is yours. And we are really eager to hear what you have to tell us.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay? Yes, good. First of all, thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here and quite humbled, actually. I've spent the last 3 days getting to know a lot of you and sharing our stories. And this story just doesn't seem as important as some of those that you have shared, but I think it will give you a different perspective on the evolution of a PSAP. I love that everybody knows what that is. This really is just about me sharing a story of mine, a journey that I happened to fall into, and give you some ideas of what we can do if we truly think differently. As you know, PSAPs, police, fire, had experience with both, are usually associated with a city or a county, a district. And about 3.5 years ago, as he's mentioned, I was the commander of the Roseville Police Department, and I had planned on retiring from that. I was sought out and asked to come look at the Sacramento Regional Fire Department. They were in a bit of a tickle, third largest fire department in the state of California, and having some serious problems. If you've worked in PSAPs or you've dealt with communication centers, it's not atypical to have short staffing. There were about 36 people short, didn't have good IT support, very antiquated technology, and quite frankly, some issues with fraud and other problems with some financial support in management. So essentially I went over there and did some research, and very typically our money was in the county. So we had a finance department that managed our procurement. When we wanted to buy something, we had to go through that process. When we wanted to hire somebody, we had to go through that very antiquated process. I started looking at opportunities, and I saw that perhaps if we owned the money, if I took the money out of Treasury and started thinking like a Fortune 50 company, like a private company, we might be able to take this inefficient governmental environment and turn it into governmental efficiency. And those two words typically don't go together, do they? So we did challenge ourselves, and what we did is we sat down and pulled our $15.5 million out of Treasury, out of the county of Sacramento, and I put it in a bank. Only the third company in 76 years to ever successfully pull that money out. Now I have the issue of managing this company, not my PSAP, but a company. And so we started changing the way we did business. We took this money, put it in a bank, and we had very antiquated technologies. We had, for those IT folks in the room, we had to flip on a modem to connect with our vendor. We did not have any internet. Now this is the third largest PSAP in the state of California, and this was only 3.5 years ago. Our hiring practices were poor. We had constant turnover, which I'm sure some of you can appreciate as well. So think entrepreneurially. What would you do with this broken PSAP? What we did is we took this money, and I started realizing if we did our own accounts receivable and our own accounts payable, and we built our own budget, and we invested our money, and we started thinking smarter, we could become extremely efficient. So think in terms of your normal 911 center, and now think in terms of this center. I have an accounting division. So this accounting division made up of 3 people manage the $15 million. We changed the way we do business. We do something called prompt pay. Are you a vendor? Is there a vendor in the room anywhere? Vendors, okay. So typically when you go and you work with a governmental agency, how long does it take you to get paid? Forever. Forever or never, right? But it's a process, isn't it? So we do something a little differently. If you bill me on Tuesday, I pay you on Thursday. Literally the same week. Because we're in control of that. What do you think that does for my PSAP with negotiations with my vendors? Do you think the vendors and I have a very good relationship? Yes, those vendors of mine sitting in the room are going yes. Because we pay them well. So we've been able to manage this procurement process. So when I want to purchase something, I can do it very quickly. I have $50,000 requisition authority, which is very high in the state of California. So I can write a check up to $49,999. How many contracts do you think I negotiate for $49,999? A lot. So when we know we've got good vendor relationships, so this accounts receivable, accounts payable, I start working with my vendors, really good relationships there, so that we started seeing some healthier purchasing, and very quickly, because I could do that because we know the process. So procurement started getting much easier for us, which is very good. The other piece that we did is our accounts receivable, accounts payable, those daily bills we manage. We had a really antiquated, my accounting manager when I first walked in the door had a number 2 pencil and a general ledger, and that was our accounting system for 17 years. And that doesn't work in our industry. So within 6 months, we went out and found a software program and actually took 17 years worth of data in 6 months, did an RFP, acquired an ERP system, software to manage our money, and built that ERP with the 17 years worth of data in 6 months, which is pretty amazing. So now I have the ability to look at and capture every penny. So accounts receivable, accounts payable. We also build our own budgets. I pay my own bills, build our own budgets, handle our own financials, our own audits. The company had not been audited, a governmental business, for 10 years. We did 13 years of audits in 2 years. Again, because we own the process. So our accounting division, we handle all of the dollars I spend, and I'm responsible for every penny individually as the CEO of this company, but that allows us to have control. So we also have an HR division. I can actually go from application to interview to background to psych to medical to hire in 4 weeks. And I don't know too many agencies can do that. We control the process. We follow all the rules, of course, but what we do is we look at how we hire differently. So we hire to strength of character, which is a little different. We talk about this at other international conferences on typical HR processes. We do things differently. We look at the objective, what kind of people we want. Now, you all deal with people in your organizations. You can teach them a skill, correct? But can you teach them to be philanthropic and kind and sensitive and compassionate? Those are the people I hire. That's the skill set we look for. So what happens is because we reverse design the HR process and we control the process, I end up with people that you want to work for. So in 3 years, I've hired 38 people. Our attrition rate was in the 90 percentile. Our attrition rate is now under 20%, and that's only based on retirees. People come and they stay. They're part of the fabric of this organization because they're part of a business, and we know how to treat people. So we've got an accounting division. We have a 911 division. And they answer all of those calls, and they handle the EMD, and they do it for 10 different fire departments in the county of Sacramento. If you don't know my county very well, which you may not, one of the things I want you to understand is we're borderless seamless. So the entire county, even though we have 10 different fire departments, the fire department that is the closest available unit responds, regardless of jurisdiction. So the citizens are getting the best care regardless of who is, jurisdictionally, who should be responding. So sort of fast forward a little bit, we have our accounting division, our 911 division, our HR division, and then we got a little creative. We wanted a disaster recovery site. So we went out and looked for a standing building that had been vacant for about 3 years. Why did I do that? Why did I look for a vacant building? Cheaper. Negotiated a 10,000 square foot building, if you know anything about the US and cost per square foot. 10,000 square foot building, I pay $2,400 a month, which is about 25 cents a square foot, which is pretty good, right? Yeah. So we took this building, it was quite antiquated and very old, and we've got these amazing people that I hired. Remember that hiring process? We went in and we took walls down, we ripped up carpet, we painted things, and we've turned this very old, antiquated building into this diamond. And what we do is this, think entrepreneurial. How many 911 centers do you know that actually have revenue streams? Not too many. So we took this conference and training center, which is our disaster recovery site, and we built conference rooms. Computer labs, which is our disaster recovery site where we hold our CAD, our radio, our telephony, and our mapping. So we have all of these conference rooms, and I rent them out. I rent them out for 50% less than any other conference room anywhere around. Why do we do that? Anybody? Money. I want people to rent my room. Well, what we do is people walk in and they rent the room. Because I'm 50% less, I say this. You rent this room. May I have 2 free spots in your training class? Whatever you're training. I don't control what comes in. So I've had training anywhere from VMware, which is about $3,500 a spot if you've ever been to a VMware class. Esri, Outlook, Excel, project management, because these are outside people coming in and offering this training. What do I do with those 2 spots? Give it to my people. So in 3 years, I've been able to save, in my budget, almost $200,000, and in turn around and offer this training to the people within our organization. That's a pretty good return. I've got my revenue. Now we've got this huge, diverse amount of training. What's the first thing to get cut in a budget? Training. So I'm protecting that if we ever are in that delta by having this diversity. What do you think as an employee? If I walked up to you every day and I said, hey, did you want to go to a PMI class this week? Did you want to go to Excel? Do you want to learn VDI? How about some GIS? What does that make you feel like as an employee? Valued, that's the word. Oh my goodness gracious. Valued, because I'm investing in you. You're part of my organization. There's a partnership here. The value is so important, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, about value. It is so important to have and feel valued in our organizations, because once you feel that, you're giving more. You're thinking creatively. So now we've got this conference and training center, we've got this revenue, I've got this training. Guess what else we did? We have a catering division. How many 911 centers do you know have a catering division? Why do I have a catering division? The food for the conference. When you come and rent my conference rooms, you're an instructor. Anybody ever taught a class before? Anybody? Isn't it lovely when they come together and they network and they talk and they don't leave for lunch? And they stay, and you don't have to wait for them, correct? So what we do is we offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner, homemade, fantastic food. Yes, Francesco's been there, you can attest to that. Very good food. But when we break bread together, we form relationships. And so we offer this catering division. People come in, they rent the room, they have breakfast, they order lunch, sometimes dinner, because we have evening classes. So my revenue stream now is the conference and training. We have the catering division that does extremely well. And we, when we redesigned the building, I did put in a commercial kitchen with the idea that we'd use that. So the last piece is we have a 10,000 square foot building. There's a lot of wall space. I didn't want to have to go buy pictures. So what we did is we support the local artists. If you're an artist, you come and hang your works on my wall. I have beautiful walls, and for 15% of that sale, I manage that for you. So now we have a revenue stream from supporting the local artists, the command catering division, the conference and training, and we have a training, very robust training program in this organization. So I want you to fast forward 3 years. We've completely remodeled everything that could be touched in our 911 center. We are completely fully staffed for the first time in 28 years. We have a line going out the door. This is not because of me, this is because of those people we hired. If you come to our organization, we are working with the people in the Netherlands. They're modeling their EMD program after us. How proud are we? In 3 years, we've won over 32 awards in every single division of our center. That's not me, those are those people that are working in there. Whether it's GIS, leadership, technology, cybersecurity, we spoke in Washington, D.C. about that. Because we do things differently. This is very entrepreneurial. So in 4 years, hiring 36 people, completely remodeling the center. We are now VDI, virtualized, we have the VPN connectivity, we bought a new CAD product, really brought these fire agencies together. I'm blessed, I have multiple agencies outside our county actually wanting to come join us now, which is good for the community when we have regionalization. The other thing that we did, which is a little different, is how we negotiate our contracts. My vendors are not going to like this very much, but we realize there's strength in numbers. So in the Sacramento County, I'm fire, right? But I reached out to local government, I reached out to the police department, I reached out to about 72 different agencies in our surrounding area and said, would you trust me to negotiate for you? Even though I don't work for you, would you trust me to do that? And they said yes. So now when I sit down with Motorola, I was talking with them last night, I don't know if they're in the room, they're not talking with Teresa Murray from SAC Regional Fire, they're talking to 72 different agencies. Do you think that's good for our financial health? And do you think we can negotiate better terms because we're representing multiple agencies? We're getting rid of those walls, those silos, because at the end of the day, would we not all agree that we are all in this for the greater good? I don't care if I'm in Sacramento, California, or if I'm in Prague, which is fabulous, by the way, beautiful place. We all are in this for one thing, the greater good, the resource to the problem as quickly and safely as possible to save lives and property. Is that correct? Is that why we're all here? In some fashion, we support that. So when we think in those terms, we come together, united, and realize it doesn't matter where we are in the world. And if we come together and we pool our resources, we can do incredible things. So 3.5 years later, here we are, an award-winning international PSAP that started in chaos. And the only reason we did this is because we thought differently. We chose to challenge our paradigm. One of the things I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today, and you said the word, I love it, value. I don't care who we are in organizations, if you feel valued, you do amazing things. If your people feel safe and they can make mistakes and raise their hand and say, I made a mistake today, what's the value in that? What's the value in somebody holding up their hand and saying, I made a mistake today? Say again? Acknowledgement. The other thing that's valuable is what does it do to the company? If you tell me what mistake you made, and I listen, what does it do for us? Absolutely. It makes us stronger. We learn from each other, and it's safe. I give prizes. That got your attention. So we have to have a safe environment to be able to share those things. So when we sit down with our people, I sit down and go, who made a mistake today? I don't know if that's a normal conversation at your board meetings, but it is at ours. Who made a mistake today? And if they don't raise their hand, we're not taking risks. We're not trying something different. We're not thinking differently. We embrace the risk. I embrace the mistake. Very, very good for companies. It keeps us on our toes, and it challenges us to keep getting better. Good to great. So one of the things that we do, we talk about values. I want to challenge the leadership paradigm. And I'm going to use American money. I went back and forth on this. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to be disrespectful. But this is a $20 bill, American money. And somebody in this room is going to walk away with this today. So I like, see, I'm bribing you, isn't this good? Oh, he's waving already. Now you're paying attention. So the reason that I use this as an analogy is I really want to have a serious conversation about this money. So this is a $20 bill. What's its worth? $20, right? Okay, I'm going to take it. Very hard with mine. All right, it's got a little bit. All right, what's its worth? Still? Sure? Okay. This is why I didn't use your money. Okay, it's a little dirty, a little wrinkly. What's its worth? Why? You see the value of it, do you not? I could bat in this and do this, and it'd still be worth what? $20. You see the value so quickly of this $20 bill. What I challenge us as leaders to do is to look past the wrinkles, past that facade of our people, and see the value in them. Because sometimes they don't see it within themselves. If we look and we make a judgment, or we look and we don't see what value that individual can bring to our team, we are failing our people. I love quirky. I have a whole team of quirky, and it makes for great ideas. And I will watch and see someone. Now, when I came to this organization, remember, I hired 36 people, but there were a lot of people there already, weren't there? But I looked past those things that others saw, maybe some crankiness, some not so nice personalities, and I really struggled to find the value of each person. That individual started feeling valuable. You stand up a little taller when you feel like, I matter and my opinion matters. So the value, you easily saw the value of the $20 bill, no matter what I did to it. You easily saw that. But we don't do that as easily with people. And that's why I think we need to challenge ourselves as leaders to make sure that we see diamonds and you get diamonds. If you see children, you'll get children. He's shaking his head. Yeah, you're my Mr. Tie guy, aren't you? He looked very good last night wearing a tie. Was not happy that he was the only guy with a tie, but you look very nice. He's like, thanks, lady. So my question is this for you. Who wants this $20 bill? Who wants this $20 bill? Somebody's getting this. Come on, a little more enthusiasm. I know it was a late night. Who wants the $20 bill? Who wants the $20 bill? Somebody's walking away with this. Come here, sweet child. Oh, I love it. You can raise your hand all day, but the way you get something is what? You come and take it. It's easy to do this. I've done this all my life. It's scary to do that. But the reality is, if you want something, you have to get up and you have to do something different. You have to challenge your paradigm. You have to walk away today and go, how can I do things differently that affect my organization in a very positive way? And as leaders, if we're not constantly challenging ourselves in that context, we need to step aside and let the next person come up. Because we are responsible for the health and welfare of our organizations. We are responsible for the customer service, and at the end of the day, with all of that entrepreneurial stuff, I'm responsible for the lives of the community. So I guess today all I ask is to think differently, embrace creativity. When you sit at your board meetings, try this. When you're looking for a new solution, ask for 10 different ideas. Don't allow your staff to give you the same idea over and over again. Everybody's going to want to go first, because nobody wants to have to get that creative by the 10th person. But I don't allow everybody to just nod and agree. Why do I do that? You guys are smart people. Why do we do that? Challenge people, innovation. And what happens is sometimes you walk away with a piece of each idea. I don't know everything. I challenge my people to come up with creative ideas so that we can be what we call amazing. Go be amazing every day. That's what my last thing I say to my people before we leave for the day or after a meeting is go be amazing. I want them to feel each day is a day of opportunity. I have one quick story for you, and then we'll, I guess, questions. How am I doing on time? He's my time master.
No, I start to sing. No.
He's going to start to sing. So, little story for you. Toothpaste company called Crest. Anybody ever heard of it? Okay. So in the 70s, now think of the Americans in the 70s. In the boardroom, 8 o'clock, they all walk in with their suits and ties and looking very sharp. The smartest people of the company. This is a true story, by the way. Smartest people of the company walk in, sit down, the CEO says, today we're going to come up with an idea that allows us to increase sales, the best increase in the history of Crest. And I want you to come up with that idea. So walk with me here. So they're sitting around and they're throwing ideas out. Now this is the 70s. We didn't have computers, right? So they're writing things down and they're crumpling the paper and throwing it in the wastebasket in the corner. Can you see that wastebasket? Idea after idea after idea. Now it's about noon and they've taken their coats off and they're rolling up their sleeves because they just can't come up with the perfect idea. Fast forward, it's about 2, 3 o'clock. How many of those, that corner wastebasket's about 2 feet above, right? And now they're balancing the next bad idea on top of the last bad idea. Keep fast forwarding. Now the ties are off, the jackets are off, the sleeves are rolled up, the shirts are unbuttoned. They're exhausted. They want to be home. Should have been done a long time ago, 8 o'clock at night. What's happened at this point to this group of people? They're exhausted. What else has happened? They're losing control. Their minds are actually opening because they're thinking differently because they've exhausted themselves. These are the smartest people in the company. They should have had this hours ago. It's martini time. Time to get out of here. So 8 o'clock at night, who walks in? Who's cleaning the place at 8 o'clock at night? Cleaning lady, janitor, walks in. CEO's very frustrated with the group, pounds his fist. I want an idea that will get us the best sales in the history of Crest. Lady looks up and says one thing. Make the hole bigger. I've got 3 minutes and 28 seconds.
It's including everything.
Oh, okay. Killing me, that was the moment. Make the hole bigger. So they did. They made the hole bigger. Now think about the consumer. The consumer doesn't have to do anything differently. Squeeze. More toothpaste comes out. Nothing. Cap same size. Everything. 76% increase in sales. The top increase in Crest history came from the cleaning lady. Why did they hear it? Because they were exhausted and they had an open mind. So for us leaders in the room, what's our lesson? Don't be so arrogant, right? I mean, it happens. Oh, no, that's not a good one. Let me come up with something else. We sit around thinking that we have all of the answers. Listen to those people outside your organization. Listen to those thoughts and those comments that come from the most obscure places, because it really can be the difference between an average year and your most successful year. And I'm sad that those folks had to wait that long to get to that idea, but it was a fantastic idea and a very simple one. So I wonder if they would have heard it at 8 o'clock in the morning. So think about that as leaders of the organization. He's going to start singing, and I don't think he sings well, so I'm going to open it up for about 1 minute and 50 seconds of comments or questions, if you have any. Thank you. Any questions at all? You've got 1 minute 40 seconds. No?
Okay, I decided to let her speak, and only 2 questions allowed.
Okay, thank you. My name is Kenneth from Falk, and Falk is actually a global private emergency service company, and we are private. And thank you very much for your speech. I need to ask you, what private company do you represent?
It's not a private company. We actually are a tax-exempt governmental agency who functions as a private company.
I know, I joked because you spoke exactly as you were from a private company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. I've got prizes for you.
Okay, I think that there are so many questions, and it's a pity that I have to stop you.
That's okay. I wanted to just thank you. I don't mean to interrupt, but thank you so very, very much. You were so attentive, and not one head in a phone or BlackBerry or, and that's a little antiquated technology for the IT people, but not one head in a phone or, and just so respectful. So thank you so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.